Thank you for taking the time off to attend my talk today. I will be talking about behavioral economics. So, behavioral economics is a method of economic analysis that applies psychological insights into human behavior to explain economic decision making. First of all, I would like to try an experiment. I need everybody's cooperation in order for this experiment to work. So the whole was already divided into two, right? The upper half and the lower half. So for the upper half, please turn your heads away from the slide. The upper half. Okay, this one is for the lower half. Okay, lower half. Let's say there is a magazine you want to subscribe to. That magazine gives you 3 subscription options. Which one would you take? I'll give you a few minutes to think about that. Have you made an option?
Yes.
Okay. Those who picked the first option, please raise your hands. Okay, put your hands down. Those who picked the second option, please raise your hand. And those who picked the third option, please raise your hand. Okay, everyone turn this way. Now the upper half, stay looking at the screen, and the lower half, please turn away. Okay, upper half. Let's say there is a magazine you want to subscribe to. That magazine gives you 2 subscription options. Which one would you take? I'll give you a few moments to think about that. Have you made a decision?
Yes.
Okay. Those who picked the first option, raise your hands.
Raise higher, please.
Okay, put your hands up. Those who picked the last option, raise your hands. Okay, now turn this way, everyone. Let's assume now I'm a real estate agent and you are my clients. You want to buy a 2-bedroom house, so I'll show you 3 options. Here is a nice 2-bedroom house that costs $145,000. Then the next one is a less nice 2-bedroom house that costs around $130,000. And the final one is a relatively cheap $80,000 2-bedroom house. Which one would you pick? Those who pick the first one, please raise your hands. Okay, those who picked the second house, raise your hands. And those who picked the last option, raise your hands. Okay, now from the first experiment, I showed the lower half these 3 options, correct? Yes. A well-known psychologist and behavioral economist named Dan Ariely did this experiment on 100 MIT students and found out that from these 3 options, the majority took the third option, 84%. And the other 16 took the first option, 16%, while nobody took the second option. Okay, with the help of my friend, thank you, I was able to find out that most of you took the first option instead of the third option. And the least of you, some of you took the second option and the rest took the third option. So the majority took the first option, which is 57.9% of you. Now for the upper half, I showed you these 2 options, correct? Yes. Dan Ariely did this same experiment on another 100 MIT students and found out that the majority took the first option, 68%, while the rest took the third option, 32%. The case was the same for you guys. So what does this show us? It shows us that we are irrational. Do you see the way they frame? Do you see the way they frame their choices here? With these 3 options, some of you were caught up with the second and the third option that you failed to consider the first option. Although it's not majority, so basically you're going against the theory. So it's saying that majority of you are rational. So good job, guys. However, with the 2 options, majority of you also made the rational decision because they removed the second option. That means it's obvious you would pick the most cheaper one, right? Same goes to the second experiment. Because most of you chose the most expensive one, correct? Yes. 52.5% of you chose the first one, while 32.5% of you chose the second one and 15% chose the last one. Yeah, most of you chose the most expensive one because you were caught up with trying to deal with the first and the second option that you failed to consider the third option. From this, I, as the real estate agent, I'll be making lots of money from you, because you'll be buying the most expensive ones. So the main point of my talk today was to show that we are irrational, and behavioral economics has proven that. We are irrational in such a way that we are affected by many factors, such as emotions, that we're used to using our gut instinct when we get stuck with decisions thinking it will be the best one. Businesses take advantage of this and try to earn the most money from the way you make your decisions. They are taking advantage of the natures of human beings. That is why sometimes we enter a store thinking, okay, I need to buy two clothing only, but you end up coming out of the whole store. Irrationality is inevitable, but it is not impossible to make rational decisions. Thank you.